Thanks for joining us. Today is the 16th of January 2025, and I am here with Sheryl, who is going to share her patching success story. Welcome, Sheryl.
Hello, lovely to be here.
Thanks so much for sharing. So tell us, what was life like before you started patching?
Multiple medical issues since birth, pretty much. Born with a couple of cysts in my stomach, came out a very sickly child, one of those ones that had to stay in hospital while the parents go home. Ever since then, I've had multiple allergies, multiple stomach issues, plus a couple of eye operations along the way. And I think I can count on one hand the amount of days that I've actually felt absolutely 100% fantastic. Don't know why, but obviously the universe collided and said, yes, you need one day where you are 100% fine. So, yeah, life was not so great. So, yeah, Hashimoto's, anaphylaxis to a couple of foods, and several medications that I can't also have because I react to them. So, yeah, life is not the greatest. Well, it's getting better, but slowly every day, getting better
Well,
and
we'll get
better.
to that in a second. So another couple of key things I want to talk about is, what were your pain levels like? What was your energy like? And what was your sleep like before patching?
Pain levels varied from, I'd say, every day between a 5 and a good 20 sometimes. It did hurt my back as well. So I've got a lower back injury, osteoarthritis after I had my daughter. Quite a few things going on, and some days, if I ate the wrong thing, I would be rolled up in a ball of pain, just agony.
And your energy and your sleep levels, what were they like?
Energy quite low most days. Never slept well. Also had they didn't sort of say it, but sleep apnea. They actually said that because my tonsils were so huge that was the problem. So it wasn't actually sleep apnea; it was just the tonsils. So yeah, don't really sleep too well, and yeah, just energy getting through the day. It was always tough.
Did they ever throw around a chronic fatigue label for you?
They threw it around, but they said we're not really going to go that direction. I thought, I don't want another label. Every time I'd go to the doctor, specialist, it's another label, another label, another label. I'm thinking, I don't want another one. Yeah. I'm stacking them up and I don't want another one. There's just too many. When I was looking at things and trying to note them all down for this interview, I was like, okay, I'm just going to stop because this is quite depressing.
So, yeah. So that said, can you reel off some of the labels that they gave you? Not so amazing.
Let's see, the Hashimoto's thyroiditis was early on, Raynaud's. They did throw around fibromyalgia, which again, they was very timid on whether that was a thing or not. They said, with everything you have, we're not quite sure. So, let's see, there's lichen sclerosis, there's Crest syndrome. There was quite a few things around my stomach that I just can't remember them all. But they didn't actually say it was that. They were hedging their bets around that. Maybe. Very much implying. Then I got a hernia 3 years ago, and that's an interesting story. Osteoarthritis, that was about 20 years ago that I found that out. And that was after I had the emergency Caesar with my daughter. And
how old were you when you had your daughter?
I was 30. I used to get migraines all the time. Didn't matter what I ate or where I was. I just would get migraines. Just trying to think, what else was there? Quite a list. Don't forget the shin splints. Shin splints, yes, absolutely horrendous. Multiple allergies and intolerances to various things.
And a lot of foods too, I believe.
A lot of
foods too.
Oh, yeah, multiple foods, multiple medications, which when you get sick and they say, oh, you can have this, and say, oh, no, I can't. Okay, well, you can't have that. We'll go on to the next one on the list. And then eventually I would have a reaction to that because my body just said, no, can't have that anymore. Next one on the list. So I'm currently on the very last antibiotic that there is. If I have a reaction to that and I get sick, there's nothing else that they can do to help me. Not that I want antibiotics, because they do wreck my gut, but it's a bit frightening when they just lay it on the line and just say, well, you know what? We won't be able to help you anymore if you get. And I was thinking, right, okay, something else
Right.
to put on that list. It's a bit frightening, but okay.
So when did you start patching?
Kind
Okay.
of 6 months ago. Yeah.
Okay. And what
So it's the
patch did
end
you
of
start with? Because I believe
August.
your mum gave you one.
Yeah, she started. I went to her place and I was complaining about not being able to sleep. And she just slapped on an X39 on me. And I was just like, what are you doing to me? And she
Thanks,
just
mum.
said, yeah, don't worry about it. Just go with it. And I thought, okay, all right. And that would have been like, I think, in early afternoon, pretty much after lunch. And then she said, just keep it on for now. No, we were going to bed. Just keep it on for now. I thought, okay, Mom, fine, whatever you want. I had the best sleep that I have had. I can't even remember how long it's been.
That's huge.
And I just thought, woke up the next morning, I thought, okay, yeah, okay. Just didn't really think about it too much. I just thought, this is great. I've had a really great sleep. I feel energetic. I don't feel energetic when I wake up in the morning. It was like, wow, what are we going to do today?
So rare I mean, I can attest to this when I had my chronic illness, you don't feel rested after you've slept. You feel like it's an empty bucket you can't keep filling. For you to have a fantastic night's sleep where you feel rested, not only that, but then energetic to face the day and excited for the day, you can't put a price tag on that.
I just thought it was a fluke, an absolute fluke. I put it down to, oh, yeah, it's one of those one-time things in 10 years that's going to happen to me. So I didn't
Um,
put too much stock into it. I just thought, okay, it's a fluke. Went on with my life. Then my mum gifted me a sleeve of glutathione
okay.
for my birthday. And I just thought to myself, are you nuts? I was like, this is the weirdest gift, one of the weirdest gifts I've ever had. She goes, just trust me. Just trust me. And I said, okay, all right. And then she said, just put it on. And she said, not every day, but, take 2 days out a week. And I said, okay. 12 hours on, 12 hours off. Okay. Easy. I can do this. So I did it, and then wasn't noticing anything too much. And then I ended up wearing these boots. And whenever I wear these boots, I always get shin splints, but it was bucketing with rain. And these are my go-to boots if it is bucketing with rain. And I thought, I've got to go to work. So I thought, I've just got to deal with it. Didn't really think too much about it. Had the glutathione patch on and went throughout my day, came home, expecting the full-on shin splints, having to put my legs up. And it just didn't happen. And it was like, okay, this is kind of weird. I thought maybe it's just going to come later on in the night, because after I take the patch off, and it's going to happen while I sleep. Wake up the next morning, still no shin splints. What in the world? It's like, okay, you've
The
got
other
my
shoe didn't drop,
attention.
pardon the pun.
So true. So my attention was like, okay, you got my attention. Maybe this wasn't a fluke that happened last time.
How early was that into your regular patching journey that you noticed that?
That was about a month in.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was a month in, and I was starting to sort of, my senses were starting to go, oh, okay, this is something. This is interesting. Still, I was fighting it in my brain going, this can't be real. This stuff doesn't happen to me.
Yeah.
If anything, I am going to be having a reaction to
Yeah.
something. That was my biggest fear, reacting to the patches. Even
Mm.
though my mum kept saying that nothing goes into you, it is your body's light and that's it. And to me, my brain, I was like, what are you talking about? It's like, it didn't make sense to me at all.
Yeah.
Even though I knew that our bodies were full of light and all the rest of it,
Wasn't
making sense. All I knew is that I had a really great night's sleep, and all of a sudden, no shin splints. And I was thinking, okay, this is good. And the other thing that started to happen was my back pain was diminishing ever so slightly. I noticed the difference completely. If it's down 0.5%, I notice it makes a huge difference for me. And I was thinking, my back, it feels different. It's better, but I'm not quite sure what's going on. So it's not quite sure what's going on, but I like it.
Wow. What about your sleep though? So other than that first night, did the compounding of good night sleeps continue?
I was sleeping because I didn't have the X39. I was only having the glutathione. So my sleeping was, I was getting more hours,
Oh, good.
not quite the full night, but more hours. I wasn't waking up every hour on the hour and shifting and turning and all that sort of stuff. Maybe I was having 3 hours instead of just the one. So it increased. Not groggy the next morning like I would normally was. So that changed a little bit as well. Yeah, so that was a bit exciting. And then my mum's like, you want to go back on the X39? And I was thinking, yeah, all right.
So the
So
first patch that she whacked on you was an X39, was it?
the very first one was an X39.
Okay. Well, you slept like a teenager.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
then I guess,
What about your
yeah.
food? What about your allergies and your food exposure?
So
What
that came about. That was really interesting because I've always really careful about my food,
yeah.
and we were in Thailand. I have a severe anaphylactic allergy to all seafoods, whether it be crustacea or non-crustacea. So being in Thailand, like we'd been before, so everything was fine. But this time we were at a different place. This is how severe my allergy is. Someone had used the same spoon from a seafood dish on another dish, a
Was that like at a
non-seafood
buffet
dish.
or something? Was that like at a buffet something, or was that a
Yeah,
restaurant?
yeah, buffet. Even though I had spoken to them before and they said, yeah, everything's fine. But of course, they don't realize that regular people don't understand that you just don't swap the spoons around or the whatever it is. So I ended up feeling my throat going, and I thought, oh, I know what that is. I had taken off my patches because I sweated them off. So I just thought to myself, I'm going to leave them off.
Tell me what's significant about you sweating them off as opposed to before patching?
I never sweat. I just didn't sweat at all because
Okay,
of the
wow.
Hashimoto's. Even if I went to the gym and did my rehab and all, I never sweat. And everyone
Wow,
used to be enamored with me because I would be wearing like a tracksuit, just didn't sweat. And they
wow.
were all just dripping in sweat. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. So,
Even though that's really groovy and comfortable, that's not actually ideal because sweating is one of your body's detox pathways.
and it's a way for your body to not get as hot as well. So
Thermoregulation thing, wow.
yeah, yeah. So that was the other. I didn't realize it at the time that I sweated the patches off. I
Wow,
just didn't really think about it. So yeah, that was huge,
wow.
and it sort of didn't dawn on me because probably I was having too much of a good time. But
Well, and then your throat
then,
started to close, so
then my stroke. So I went back upstairs, slapped the patches on, and my mum's just looking at me going, "Okay, okay, okay."
because you don't
This
wanna
was
go to a hospital in
in a
any
foreign country. Not to mention that we were in the middle of the biggest storm they had had. Like,
what,
it
like a
was
typhoon?
literally, yeah, we heard the door to the balcony bang close, and we were just like, "What's happening?" This rain and typhoon thing was happening. We went downstairs to meet a few people, met a couple of friends, and they asked, "Do you know where the hospital is?" I said, "Yeah, it's literally 15 minutes down the road, but in this typhoon, maybe 2 hours." And I thought, okay, this is not ideal. We're stuck in the hotel. The people had to force the doors closed. Like they were holding the doors closed. That's how bad it was. The rain was gushing down. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, stuck in the hotel, hospitals a good 2 hours away in this where they
Over.
started to come out in hives, welts, and I thought, "Okay, just calm." So my mum had I'd only had the patches on, I think, maybe 10 minutes at this stage. I had the X39 glutathione on, Aeon on, and my mum slapped on a carnosine on me at the time as well. So I was just sitting down and she's just staring at me as mothers do. I
Yes.
was thinking, this is okay, this is all right. Calmed myself down. And I was waiting to just have this dread that comes over me when I know that it's going to happen. The whole non-breathing thing. There's this slight tick over from the throat closing to I'm passing out because I can't breathe. There's just
Wow.
this weird thing that happens.
Do you need an EpiPen? Do you need an
Yep. So I had the EpiPen, but I usually wait till that moment just before I'm going to pass out. It's always been that
Pleasant
way,
fun to
and
have to stab yourself. It's not a fun thing to do.
oh, the thought of it is just, oh my gosh, I don't want to do that. So
Mhm.
I had it with me, and I was waiting for this feeling to come. I was waiting for it because I thought to myself, if I hold out long enough, which of course you can, so that if I have to go to the hospital, not when, it's if, that I will have had it, and then, they won't have to do anything in a Thai hospital. So, yeah, exactly. But I was sitting there, and nothing happened. And I started feeling different.
Hmm.
It's not like you're coming down from the adrenaline that they stick into you. It was just the weirdest feeling of not feeling itchy anymore. It was subsiding, and my throat was not closing. It was actually opening, but it's such a different feel from when you have the EpiPen
Adrenaline.
to then just happen naturally. It was just the weirdest thing. And
Wow.
I just thought, I've never had this feeling before
How long
of
did it take
just,
before you started feeling that way?
it was a good 30 minutes.
Oh,
I was just sitting there trying to calm myself down the whole time because I was just watching them close these doors, the mania that was going on around me, the people that were having their little hissy fits about being locked in. And I'm thinking, you're just locked in. I'm in a medical crisis and I can't go anywhere.
mm.
So mum
That would have
she
been
was so
terrifying.
calm.
Terrifying.
She didn't show it though, which to her
Credit. Wow.
greatness of being a great mum, that she did not show that she was literally panicking.
Wow.
And I was thinking, yep, I'm not going to panic because, of course, if you panic, the everything just goes faster.
It
So
speeds
I
it
was
up.
like, okay, don't panic, don't panic. And it was literally, I think, about another hour, and I was enjoying myself having dinner. So,
Oh, wow.
I
So
know it
you
was.
you had appetite. You weren't feeling
I
nauseous or anything?
nothing. It
Wow.
was just the weird. And my mum kept checking me for the next 24 hours. It was like check, check, check.
Yeah.
And she kept asking, "Do you need to go to the hospital? Do you need to go to the hospital?"
No.
I was like, "No,
Wow.
don't need to go." And even the staff came over and they said, "Do you need to go?" "No, I'm all
Wow.
good." So
So, how long was it before you noticed the welts start to disappear?
the welt went overnight.
Okay.
So that was a little bit longer. But yeah, probably the next
Wow.
morning I was perfect. Just perfect. Like nothing had happened.
Wow.
And
Wow. Cheryl, that's
no
huge.
residual that was I did not have the words. And
Yep.
I think my mum and I would just sat there for a good time just going, "Yep, that happened."
Little lifesaver. That's unreal.
I that absolutely converted me. That more than anything, I thought, "Wow, that is
Um,
something." Like even an EpiPen can't even do that.
no.
So yeah, I've had so many memories of being near fish and just going, "Boop, yep, over." Not even having time to get an
Wow.
EpiPen out because I couldn't
God.
even smell the smell of fresh fish.
Oh, wow.
So yeah,
God.
that's how severe. the allergy was. So
Whoa,
I
look at you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Past tense, I love it.
It's so exciting because now I can actually go out to lunch with people that have food that involves seafood, which I couldn't do before either. I couldn't sit with someone and them have a seafood dish next to me. That was
Yeah.
just literally couldn't do it. So,
Wow, that's wild. Is there
so
anything else
it's
that
really
you
quite
wanted
light.
to share with me before I just quickly run through what these patches do?
Oh yeah, well, hair dye. I could not have hair dye. I literally had to have cortisone on my scalp every time I would have my hair dyed.
Oh,
I was just getting these huge welts on my head. It was an anaphylaxis, still painful and couldn't do it. I used to have a week's worth of Zyrtec, so I'd Zyrtec every day for a week. Then on the day, and then 2 weeks afterwards, I'd have a Zyrtec every day. So that's what I was having to do. Not
wow,
ideal.
just to prepare for a haircut.
And so I got to the point where one day I literally had forgotten about my appointment. And I thought to myself, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I thought to myself, okay, I've got the patches. I'll just walk in. But I had a Zyrtec about 10 minutes before I walked in because I was in a sheer panic. And I thought, oh, this is not going to end well. Normally, when they start putting it on, within about 2 minutes, I can feel my head burning. Nothing was happening. 10 minutes in, I thought, nothing happened. This is kind of weird. I'm thinking, okay, when they step aside and I have to sit there for the 40 minutes or whatever it is, I'm sure my head's going to start burning. Nothing. Okay, they washed the dye off everything. And I thought to myself, it's not burning. My head isn't burning. This is incredible. This is.
Wow.
So I walked out of there and I was high. And I thought to myself, I'm not going to take a Zyrtec tomorrow. I'm going to see how far I can take this. I did not take a Zyrtec at all for the next day, the day after, nothing at all. So it was just one patch, well, the X39 and the glutathione and a Zyrtec. That was it. So I'm hoping
So
next time
what
I
are you
go.
what are you patching with now? What patches
So
are you using?
I've got the X39, the glutathione, Aeon. Best sleep with the Aeon. Oh my
Right?
gosh, the best
Yes.
sleep.
Oh my gosh.
I love
Oh,
my sleep now. I did get the ice wave because of the non-hernia. I had a hernia diagnosed 3 years ago, and I've
yeah,
been on the waiting list to get it repaired.
yeah.
They did a final exam and they said, yep, it's there, but we're going to have to wait a little while. Got to surgery, got my review. Something strange happened. What do you mean something strange happened? And the surgeon just looked me dead in the eye and said, there was no hernia.
What?
What do you mean there was no hernia?
Medical incompetence back there when you checked me out? No. Like
It was there. It was there. And
no, that's my point. It's like
it's
when was there when you checked last and now it's not?
yeah. And
Oh my
went to have
gosh.
had the surgery, which I'm now recovering from. It was meant to be keyhole surgery, and they ended up doing a full on. So recovery is going to be a little bit longer than expected. I'm
Oh
still
my goodness.
swollen. Yeah.
They could have
So,
done another exam before we cut you open because it's
I've,
still been a minute since we said still there.
so I've actually put the ice wave patches next to the incision because it's in
Yeah.
a very awkward
Cricket.
position.
Yeah.
I put it next to it rather than on it because it's still quite sore. It's not this huge pain I was expecting. With the ice wave, it's manageable because of
So that
where
was
it
just
is.
in time for pain relief and something anti-inflammatories to take.
Well, that's the other thing. I can't take an anti-inflammatory.
Oh,
So my stomach, I can't cope with them.
wow.
So that's why I'm still swollen and taking a little bit longer. But the
Just
patches,
a little bit of info for you. You can use 2 Aeon. You can wear more than one. So if you need extra support around the incision area, I would recommend putting an Aeon near it.
okay, I will do that.
Mhm.
I like that. No hernia.
That's wild, mate. No hernia.
No hernia.
And you've only been patching with the X39 for how long?
Just under 6 months. Just under. Yeah.
6 months for the X39.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait,
And
how long was it with the glutathione? It was longer with
uh,
glutathione.
glutathione is 5 months,
Mm-hmm.
and the X39 is only 4 months.
There you go. Okay, I thought
Yeah,
it would have been
yeah,
less than the glutathione. So,
yeah.
oh my gosh,
Uh-huh.
I can't wait till Jodie sees this. She's gonna
I
fall.
know. I was totally just when they woke me up and they just said it, and I was in an absolute haze at the time and didn't understand what they were saying. But when he just looked at me dead straight in the eye and said at the review yesterday, the complete look of confusion on his face was priceless. So he goes, "Yeah, we don't know what happened." I'm thinking, I do. I know what happened.
Wow. Yeah, good
And
luck telling that to a surgeon, though, right?
yeah, exactly. I was going to, but the look and it was no. So the icing on the cake. This is the icing. Over Christmas that we spent with my mum, I was eating some fruit for breakfast. On the third day, she said to me, "I've noticed you're eating fruit for breakfast." I said, "Yeah, I am." Because my entire life, I have never, ever, ever been able to have fruit for breakfast.
Oh, wow.
Because of my stomach issues, I would end up in a curl ball
With
on the floor,
cramps.
wherever I was, in absolute agony, and there was nothing I could do about it. So avoiding fruit for breakfast, an absolute must.
Wow.
And every diet that they tell you to, it's always a fruit for breakfast. I was like, no, not
It
happening.
helps with keeping your natural sugar levels up and all that sort of stuff.
So it was literally, I had been experimenting, and she just looked at me. She's on. There's something different about you. I'm just recuperating.
That's too funny.
Yeah.
So, no reaction to the shellfish, no seafood, whatever that was, no hernia, no shin splints. I choose to remember irritated scalp, swelling scalp, or whatever, sores on your scalp. No issues eating fruit in the morning anymore. Oh, and great night's sleep and energy. Oh my gosh, the benefits for you just keep giving, don't they?
They do. They do. So I'm so excited because even though I've sort of experiencing it all and I'm trying to remember to write it all down as that's happening.
Mhm.
My medical and physical life is getting so much better
Wow.
each day by day, and
Gosh,
those
what a
little things like eating the fruit for breakfast, even though it's not a huge amount, it's made such a huge difference. Having some berries with wheat bix, it's what normal people can do,
wow.
and it's so life changing.
Oh, that's amazing, Cheryl.
Mm.
That is phenomenal. I have not heard such a testimonial in such a long time, and it's amazing. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that's just
yeah.
so wild.
So
Well,
life is
so
definitely getting better and better.
oh, I love that for you. I'm so excited. I'm so glad to hear that you're improving in leaps and bounds. That's just wonderful. So, just so the audience knows what we're talking about, what are these patches? What are these little band aids that contain nothing but have all these little miracles packed inside them? This is groundbreaking wellness technology called photobiomodulation. It uses light to activate your body's natural healing processes. This patch is small, about the size of a band aid. The white part contains nothing but a proprietary blend of organic minerals, including amino acids, salts, sugar crystals, and oxygen to form a reflective crystal lattice. When you place it on your skin, your body's heat, specifically your low level infrared light, interacts with it. It's the same type of light we can't see unless you're using night vision goggles. The patch reflects this light back into your body, signaling a specific peptide. The patch we've referred to a lot is the X39. That signals a peptide called GHKCU, which is a copper peptide that was discovered in the 1970s by Dr. Lauren Picard. You can look that up. There's extensive research on that. Think of it like a sunlight simulating device on your skin, like we're familiar with getting in the sun to produce vitamin D, except this is you are the sun. You get in it, harness it, and turn on your body's healing capabilities. So the technology has been around for 20 years and perfected by our inventor, David Schmidt. And it's simple, non-invasive, to support your body's healing abilities to regenerate, boosting energy, vitality, and wellness. So, Sheryl, do you plan on stopping patching anytime soon?
I will never stop patching.
Oh, wow.
I just
In it for the long haul.
I am. Well, I started off as a skeptic, and I literally almost had a panic attack because I thought I'm going to react to something. I react to everything. And that's what I was feeling like for,
Yeah.
50 years. I just felt like I react to everything. This is what my life is.
Mm.
But being able to just go out for dinner, to a cafe, to spend time with family and friends, and not being agony as well, not being pain,
Yeah.
it's so life-changing.
Yeah.
It's even my friends have said, because I keep saying yes to all these dinner dates and cafe dates now, and they all say, wow, we really expected you to say no, because
Wow.
you always say no. So now I keep saying yes to as much as I can, to as many things as I can, because I actually want to start living life, just living it to the full now as much as I can. And I know that my body is going to still keep getting better, keep recuperating, even after the the
My
setback.
mum
But
alluded to something, but she didn't tell. So she had good self-control. She goes, wait till you speak to Sheryl. And I was like, okay, I can't wait.
yeah,
I didn't expect that.
yeah.
That's
So
hilarious.
when I told her, I was like, what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's wild. So just one other important question. Have there been days where you've forgotten to put on your patches or you've left them on too long and you've needed to take a bit of a rest break? How have you been on those days?
I have actually forgotten a couple of times, mostly because of after the surgery, I was completely forgetting the times. So I did forget a few times. Nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened. And I didn't turn into a pumpkin or anything. So that was
No,
good.
no.
There
So
was
the
no,
reason why I ask is because a lot of people ask me, do I have to use these patches for the rest of my life? My answer is always no, because our body heals to a certain point in the timeline. Once we decide we don't want to do it anymore, your body has been healed to that point where
yeah,
you're starting from a clean slate and you're going forward as opposed to reverting back to what you were before you started using them.
yeah.
So I'm really glad to hear that that was what you experienced too.
Oh, absolutely. It's like I probably have forgotten, yeah, but I especially over the last 4 weeks, either forgotten to take them off or forgotten to leave them on. And it's been sort of like a mishmash of here and everywhere, but I've not regressed in any way. So
Not had symptoms pop up or whatever during that day, and you've
not at
just
all.
cruised as usual. That's
Hmm.
awesome.
Hmm.
That's
Yep.
fantastic. Wonderful. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Cheryl. I'm just going to put up a banner here so that if anyone has further questions on the patches, they can go to this website, lightupyourhealth.net. If you have questions, if you're curious, if you want to try this for yourself or just hear more about it, lightupyourhealth.net. Or you can follow us on all these platforms to hear other people's stories, and to get a bit more of a clue as to what they do before embarking, or even just reach out to us if you want to dive in and get your own at bit.ly/wearable light tech. So thank you so much, Sheryl, for sharing your phenomenal testimony with us. That is, I did not even expect that. That's crazy. Oh gosh, I
Well,
love my job.
thank you for asking. But thank you for introducing the technology to my mum. Oh,
Let's see what the future brings for you. This will be
I can't.
amazing. Watch
Yeah, I
this
can't
space.
wait.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Cheryl.